Alright, check this out. There was actually a defining moment of when, whoa, I was walking past the trailer door and looking in the camera, and somehow I saw out of the corner of my eye, I just flinched, bro. I almost ran right into my ribs, like solid steel door. Oh, I could have broke a rib. Isn't that crazy? How your mind does that? Like, it's like, anyway, so there was a defining moment where I snapped and I decided I had to get my landscape business off the ground and start it. And I was no longer afraid of failure. It didn't matter. It was a foregone conclusion. That's what happens. And here was the moment. What's up, it's Keith Kalfas, and on this channel, if you're brand new, I make thousands of videos about the struggle and hustle of leaving a dead-end job and starting your own business and getting it off the ground. It's about freedom, right? And knowing your worth. I woke up this morning and I was like flipping through my phone while getting ready for work, and somebody had sent me a message on Facebook asking me about, like, when did you decide, Keith, that you were no longer going to be taken advantage of and make somebody else money? Like, what was that moment for you? And my answer to that is it was one defining moment, and here's what it is. I was working a dead-end lawn care and landscape job for like 10 bucks an hour. It was like, 9 years ago. And I'm rushing because I'm on a landscape job right now and I got a million things to do, but I'm trying to make this video for you, man, and I'm standing behind a customer's garage, and I just had this memory of, like, I made a video behind this garage like 4 years ago with my cell phone, and it has like 230,000 views, and it was just me talking about the same exact thing I'm talking about right now, and I just had deja vu. So listen, I'm with this guy who owns a landscape business, and I'm working for him. We do like over a $6,000 landscape install that day. I came and I'm loading all the materials, and we get to the job site and he doesn't even have a plan. So I come up with the plan because I already knew how to do all this stuff, and literally he wasn't really doing much of anything, and I was doing the whole install. And at the end of the day, now it's like raining, it's like 6 p.m. I'm totally exhausted. The whole landscape install is done and it looks beautiful, and we're driving in the truck, he's driving, and I'm just like totally pooped. I'm like exhausted, and let me remind you, I'm broke, could barely keep my cell phone on. I was behind on my rent with an eviction notice, and I was in debt, and I had bill collectors calling me, and my credit score was in the toilet, and I was terrified, and it was one of the lowest points of my life. And he literally couldn't even help himself. He's next to me, he goes, I just made $6,000. Like, he literally couldn't believe it. He just made $6,000 that day in revenue. I saw with my own eyes that he didn't spend over $1,000 for all the materials and paying me or whatever. And I said, oh my God, the amount of profit that this guy just made in a day would change my entire life right now. So there was this, sort of you want to be in the video? There was this thing that came through me, and it was beyond just having the motivation for myself. It was like it was an angry, revengeful vindictiveness. I looked at you, I was like, you son of a bitch. Like, now this was war to me, because I realized if this guy can do it and laugh directly in my presence about how much money he just made, it was done. I literally got off work and I went and I started posting ads on Craigslist and creating a website and bought a domain name and everything I could possibly do, and I took my rent money and I bought business cards and anything I could, started knocking on doors and making phone calls. And it was when something is done in your mind, it's like the little blue bag that breaks open in your head, and now you're changed forever. Like, there's a story called Being in the Zone by an old mentor of mine called Chris Brady. He talks about, like, when a lion hunts a gazelle, he focuses on like a heat-seeking missile on one gazelle, and hundreds of them can run by, and he doesn't care about the other hundreds that he could literally just jump on. He tunes in on that one and hunts that one down, and that's his choice. Like, when that thing happens in your brain, you become locked onto your target, and you don't care about fear anymore. It doesn't matter. And to me, I realized that I was already dead. When you're not even making enough money in the job that you're making to just barely keep treading water in your life and going through the same shit, there's something that happens where you get to the point where you you're already failing anyways, so it really doesn't fucking matter what happens, because you can see that your life is just totally flatlined. And if you're the type of person that doesn't want to live that way, there's only so long you can go on. I not only was flatlined, I was going into the hole. So I needed a way to make money. It took 6 weeks from that decision. 6 weeks later, it was my last day at work. I got this. So that was the moment I decided in the truck that day that I was done. I went out that night, posted ads. My new nickname was Side Job Keith. I started doing side jobs every single day after work and on the weekends, nonstop. I'd get home from work, like run in the apartment, use the bathroom, scarf down some food, kiss my fiance, my wife, and run out the door. I was borrowing her car in the beginning because we were fighting because she was stuck at home, because I'm using her car to do landscape jobs, doing it out of the back of her car. And then I finally saved up and dumped out change, and I think I borrowed some money and I bought like a rusty pickup truck. But it didn't matter because it was done. And 6 weeks later, I woke up on a Saturday morning and I called up the boss and I just knew it. I woke up that morning and this gut feeling came over me. It's like these epiphanies that you get, and you only get these epiphanies maybe 10 times max in your entire life. It's a life-changing epiphany where you go, oh my God, and you just make a drastic pivot, and you like break through a paradigm into like a different reality, and you can no longer be contained by your current reality, right? I called him up. I'm like, Saturday morning gut feeling, I'm like, this is the day I quit my job. And I wasn't scared. It was a sense of certainty just radiating through my bones. I said, hey, I quit. I'm going full-time in my business. He's like, what? You need to be here in 30 minutes. I said, no, I quit and I want my check on Friday. He goes, no, you better be here in 30 minutes or you're fired. I'm like, well, I quit, right? Boom. I called up a client that was scheduled for Monday. I said, hey, listen, I got an opening right now. I can come to your property and do it. Instead of Monday, I can come right now. They're like, okay, cool. I showed up. $350 later, it was like 5 p.m. I made $350 in one day. Next day, I did one for $150. Next day, I had nothing, so I was knocking on doors. Next day, I sold a job for like $400. Next day, I only made $70. It didn't matter to me. And within, I was on my own. And then I remember, I started in July. I started late July. It was like a month down the road. I was heading to this mulch job all by myself. And I told this in another video. I'll put a link in the description below. If you want a breakthrough, you got to watch this other video. I'll put a link below. You got to see this video. I'm warning you. Like, don't watch it around people who have sensitive ears, because I start cussing, and be aware, like, dude, I start crying. Like, you might cry if you watch this. And I was like, the sun just shined through the cracked windshield of my piece of crap truck and lit me up, and it was just me, and I had earned my freedom. And I just started sobbing and crying, because I was free. And it didn't matter that I was broke. It didn't matter that all I had was a rusty little shitty pickup truck and I was by myself going to do a little tiny $300 job. None of that mattered, because I was free. I fell back in love with me. Like I hated myself. I literally hated myself, and my self-esteem was so low. I felt like a piece of garbage. I felt like what am I doing? I'm a grown-ass man working for somebody else. I'm in debt. I can't even get a mortgage or a house or even lease a vehicle. I'm a loser. And when you don't see positive things and increases in your life and your lifestyle happening around you, it's really easy to get down on yourself. And I just want to encourage you that all it takes is commitment and a few key decisions. Do you think I wanted to fucking start a landscaping business? This was my last resort. I never wanted to do this. I wanted to be in Silicon Valley or be an actor in a TV show, or like, I always pictured myself doing something so great that it was almost like unrealistic for where I was at. Like, and I didn't want to swallow my pride that I was just a broke 27-year-old guy who needed to get his shit together. And dude, I love landscaping. Landscaping got my truck, my dump trailer, all my equipment, hundreds of clients. I got a house now. There's food in the fridge. Like, I literally have a brand new book coming out called Your First Year in the Landscaping Business. I just finished this book. It's out by the time you're watching this. I'll put a link in the description below. Your First Year in the Landscaping Business. If you're brand new, you have to get this book. I put my heart and soul, and I like lose money writing these books, but I don't care because I have to put this information out for guys that are just like where I was. And it's keithkalfas.com/book. Okay, if you go there on your browser, type it in, and you can get the book. I shouldn't have told you that yet. Now I gotta hurry up and go finish the website that I'm putting together to make sure that you can actually get it. Alright, I gotta go finish. Look at this beautiful property. Alright, I'm out of here. Peace.